Skip, go ahead, come up. You know, one of the things that we minister on when we're talking about the love of the Father, we're talking about our place before the Father. You know, Paul says that we were children of wrath. And he also says that we were enemies in our minds. And, you know, there's many expressions in the Word that describe how we were alienated. And we were apart from Christ and apart from God when we were walking in the world. And we were without hope. And you know, anything outside of Jesus and the work that He's done for us, anything outside of that still leaves us without hope. You know, because in ourselves there's nothing that we can present that will ever make us worthy to stand before the Father. It's only through what Jesus has done for us and what the work of His blood is doing in us that causes the Father to look at us and be pleased. And there's, you know, it says here in Colossians that we have peace through the cross. You know, and it's sometimes hard to understand that in the moment of our failure, in one of these times of the many times in our life when we have blown it and we've really messed up, there's still peace between us and the Father. You know, and we see in, I think it's Matthew chapter 4, when Jesus was baptized in the river, and so there was a voice from heaven that said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." You know, there's only one thing in all the universe that pleases God and that makes Him totally, for lack of a better word, happy, and that's His Son Jesus. But now that we've come into the kingdom and we have the Spirit of Christ in us, when the Father looks at us, the same thought is in the Father's heart, because when He looks at us, He sees the Son. You know, He doesn't see anything that we have done. He doesn't see anything of any worth that we have brought to the table. He sees the image of His Son that's been imprinted on us in our spirit. And when the Father sees us, the first thing that comes to His mind, that's my Son. And when He sees Jesus in us, He said, "This is my beloved Son," or "my beloved daughter, in whom I am well pleased." And that's one of the many thoughts that the Father has toward us. And it's redeeming not only in the moment of salvation, but it is redeeming in our daily walk with Christ, that we can understand that every time the Father looks at us, He sees Jesus in us, and it pleases Him. You know, it's not by our works. You know, because we're always we're in this fight against the things of our flesh and our old man who was crucified with Christ. But God sees our new identity, and that's Jesus. You know, that Jesus is in us, and His Spirit is in us, and Jesus has been imprinted on our spirit. He's in us, and we got to remember every time we come before the Father, we don't come trying to bring our filthy rags and our works that are worthless. We stand before Him, and He sees Jesus. He says, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." You know, the veil was rent, and it doesn't mean that sometimes it is closed. It means it's always open. You know, we have access by the blood. And whatever we've done or wherever we failed, the Father looks at the blood and says, it was enough. The blood covered it. The blood covered it all. And every time we have a failure or a weakness in our life, we can step up toward the Father, to the Father once again. He says, the blood is done. You know, there's peace between us. There's not enmity between us. There is no wrath between us. There's peace. Amen.